The phone buzzed like a hornet trapped in my pocket, insistent and furious, slicing through the sterile hum of the office fluorescence. I was elbow-deep in blueprints, the sharp scent of fresh ink and stale coffee clinging to my skin when I yanked it free. Unknown number. I almost silenced it. Another cold call, another interruption in the endless grind of civil engineering deadlines. But something in the vibration, a frantic irregularity, made my thumb swipe accept instead. Daddy! It was my son Liam. His voice a wet, choking gasp that punched through my chest like a rusted spike. 4 years old, and he sounded like he'd been dragged through gravel. Daddy! Mommy's boyfriend. He hit me with a baseball. It hurt so bad. The world tilted. Blueprints fluttered to the floor like dying birds, my coffee mug tipping sideways in slow motion, dark liquid spiderwebbing across the desk in a bitter steaming stain. Liam's sobs clawed at the line, ragged and animalistic, each one ripping open a vein I didn't know I had. Where are you, buddy? Tell Daddy where you are. My voice cracked, a stranger's, hoarse, commanding, the kind I'd only heard in nightmares. Home. The backyard. I was just playing. A muffled thud, like a small body crumpling against dirt, then a fresh wail. He's yelling now, Daddy. He said not to tell. Please come. The line went dead. Silence roared in my ears, louder than the traffic outside the 10th floor window, where Los Angeles sprawled like a glittering wound under the November haze. My heart jackhammered, a wild thing caged in ribs that suddenly felt too fragile, too human. Betrayal didn't hit me then, not fully. It was fury first, molten and blind, surging up my throat like vomit. Who the fuck was this boyfriend? Claire and I had been separated 6 months, a mutual unraveling after years of her late nights at the gallery and my buried head in work. We'd agreed, co-parenting, civilized for Liam's sake. No new players in the game until the ink dried on the divorce papers. She'd promised. I was moving before I knew it, snatching keys from the desk, my chair screeching back like a scream. Colleagues' heads snapped up. Mark from accounting, his mouth half open around a donut, but their stares bounced off me, irrelevant. The elevator ride down was eternity in a steel box, the mirrored walls reflecting a man I barely recognized. Jaw clenched so tight my teeth ached, eyes wild with a storm I couldn't name. Anger. But beneath it, a slithering humiliation, hot and acidic. Claire, my Claire, with some asshole swinging a bat at our son like he was a piñata. The drive home was a blur of red lights and blaring horns, my knuckles white on the wheel, the leather creaking under my grip. Every green light felt like mercy denied. Every delay a fresh cut. Fantasies flickered unbidden. My hands around a throat, the satisfying crunch of bone, the gurgle of regret. Focus. Liam. Get to Liam. But doubt wormed in, had he fallen? Kids trip, bruise, exaggerate. Claire would never. But the sobs echoed, real as the sweat beading my forehead, the acrid tang of fear in my mouth. Our old craftsman house loomed at the end of the cul-de-sac, its gingerbread trim mocking the domestic dream we'd built and torched. Claire's BMW was in the drive, sleek and silver, parked crooked like she'd screeched in too fast. No sign of the boyfriend's car, good or bad. I killed the engine and bolted up the porch steps, the wood groaning under my boots, splintery from neglect. The front door was ajar, a sliver of shadow spilling out like an invitation to hell. Liam! My shout echoed hollow in the foyer, the air thick with the ghost of Sunday roasts and spilled sippy cups. No answer. Just the distant thump of bass from the backyard, some shitty rock playlist Claire favored when she painted. I stormed through the kitchen, granite counters gleaming under pendant lights, a half-empty wine glass sweating condensation onto a coaster. Lies in liquid form. The sliding door to the yard banged open, cool November air slapping my face, carrying the metallic bite of blood and fresh-cut grass. There he was. My boy, curled fetal on the patchy lawn, one chubby arm cradling his side, the other clutching a scuffed baseball like a talisman. His cheek was blooming purple, a raw welt the size of a fist, dirt smeared across his freckles like war paint. The baseball bat leaned against the chain-link fence, aluminum glinting innocently in the slanting sun. "Daddy!" He scrambled up, launching into my legs with a force that nearly toppled me. His small body racked with shudders. I dropped to my knees, enveloping him, inhaling the sweet salty reek of his tears and the faint powdery trace of his morning oatmeal. "It was an accident," he said, "but it hurt, Daddy, it really hurt." "Shoo, I've got you. Where's Mommy?" My hands roamed him gently, probing ribs, feeling for fractures, my engineer's precision now a father's desperation. Bruises mottled his arm, fingerprint-shaped, too deliberate for a swing gone wrong. Inside. She was on the phone. His whisper was hot against my neck, laced with that childlike terror that twists adult guts into knots. Guilt crashed over me then, a tidal wave. How many overnights had I logged at the office, leaving him to this fractured home? I'd signed off on Claire's custody weeks, thinking it was fair, thinking she was still the woman who'd traced constellations on my back in the dark. Footsteps crunched gravel from the side yard. Claire emerged, her auburn hair tousled, yoga pants dusted with clay from her latest sculpture. She froze mid-stride, eyes widening in that practiced innocence, blue as the Pacific, once my anchor, now a riptide. "Mark. What are you? Oh God, Liam, baby, are you okay?" She rushed forward, arms outstretched, but I rose like a wall between them, Liam tucked behind my thigh. "Don't." The word was ice, low and lethal. Her hands faltered, hovering, then dropped to her sides. "What happened?" I demanded, though the evidence screamed from my son's skin. The bat, the ball, the boy, simple physics, ugly outcome. Claire's gaze darted to the fence, then back, her lips parting in a soft exhale. "It was Derek. He was teaching Liam to swing and the pitch got away. Kids fall, Mark. You know that." "Derek." The name landed like a sucker punch, conjuring faceless shadows from her vague mentions. A friend from the gallery. Someone to talk art with. Months of my denial, papering over the late texts, the perfumed scarves in her laundry. Heartbreak bloomed then, not the clean snap of a bone, but a slow hemorrhage staining everything. She'd betrayed us. Not just me with her body and her lies, but him, our fragile miracle, with this intruder who wielded violence like a casual afterthought. "Liam says he yelled. Said not to tell." My voice was steady, but inside resentment coiled like smoke. How long? How many accidents before this? Obsession flickered. I'd Google him tonight, trace his digital footprints, unearth the man who'd marked my blood. Claire knelt, reaching for Liam again. Her voice a coo laced with desperation. "Sweetie, it was just a game. Derek's sorry. Aren't you, honey?" But Liam shrank back, his small hand fisting my jeans, and in that rejection I saw her fracture. The poised curator, the free spirit, reduced to a pleading mother whose empire of half-truths was crumbling. From the shadows of the fence, he appeared. Derek. Tall, lean, with the sculpted jaw of a man who Instagrammed his sunsets and his abs. Late 30s, maybe, in faded Levi's and a gallery tee stretched taut over shoulders that spoke of CrossFit and casual conquests. A baseball glove dangled from one hand, the other shoving dark hair from his forehead. "Hey man." Heard the commotion. "Kid's fine, just a little tumble." His tone was easy, laced with that bro-code bullshit, eyes crinkling in feigned warmth. But up close I saw the tells. The faint sheen of sweat on his upper lip, the way his gaze flicked to Claire like a conspirator seeking cues. No remorse. Just the subtle flex of a man who'd already rewritten the script in his head. "You hit my son with a bat." Not a question. Flat, factual, the engineer's mind cataloging. Velocity, impact, intent. Derek's laugh was a bark, too loud for the yard's intimacy. "Whoa, easy." It was a lob, not a fastball. He ducked late. "Boys will be boys, right?" The words ignited something primal. Humiliation burned me, the desk-bound dad, out-muscled by this interloper in my own yard. I stepped forward, close enough to smell his cologne, sharp and synthetic, over the earthy rot of fallen leaves. "My 4-year-old isn't your boy. And this." I jabbed a finger at Liam's welt, the skin already swelling like an accusation. This isn't a game. Claire interjected, her hand on my arm. Cool, trembling. Mark, please. You're overreacting. Derek didn't mean. Overreacting. The laugh was mine now, bitter, echoing off the fence. Denial shattered. In its place, cold resolve seeped in, a frostbite numbness. I'd loved her once, fiercely, through her whims and my steadiness. But this, exposing Liam to a man who swung first and apologized with a shrug, it was the final incision. You let him near our kid. After everything. Her eyes glistened, but not with tears, calculation, the artist's eye framing her defense. He's good with Liam, Mark. Better than you some nights, when you're buried in those damn projects. Derek listens. He sees me. The knife twisted. He's her. Not the mother wiping vomit at 2 a.m., but the version she'd always chased. Untethered, adored. Resentment surged, hot and humiliating. Had I ever been enough? Fantasies of justice unspooled. Her gallery show ruined. His perfect life audited to ash. But doubt nipped at the edges. Was I the villain here, projecting my failures onto them? Well, the bruise said otherwise. Derek shifted, boots scuffing dirt. His posture loosening into threat. Look, we're not doing this now. Kid needs ice, not drama. He glanced at Claire, a silent command, and she nodded, too quick, too compliant. I scooped Liam up. His weight a anchor against the rage threatening to unmoor me. We're leaving. Doctor first, then my place. To Claire. Call your lawyer. This changes everything. As I carried him inside, his whimpers softening against my shoulder, the screen door slapped shut like a guillotine. Behind me their murmurs rose, low, urgent, laced with what-ifs and accusations. In the car, Liam asleep in his booster, exhausted from the adrenaline crash, I gripped the wheel until my palms bled crescents. The city lights blurred past, sodium vapor ghosts, and in the quiet, planning began. Subtle at first. Texts to my attorney, photos of the bruise under the ER's harsh fluorescence, the doctor's report noting, suspicious patterning consistent with direct impact. Quiet strategy, the engineer's blueprint for dismantling. But deeper, in the shadowed chambers of my mind, obsession took root. Derek's face, that smug crinkle. I'd memorize it, trace it to its source. Claire's betrayal wasn't just infidelity. It was erasure, painting over our family with his broad strokes. Guilt gnawed. Had my absences driven her here? Moral conflict churned. Revenge felt righteous, a father's fury. But what of the man who'd sworn in sickness and health, now plotting in the dark? Fear whispered. What if Liam paid more for my war? By midnight, in my sterile apartment, concrete walls echoing the tick of a lonely clock, I sat at the kitchen table, laptop glowing like a confessional. A reverse image search on a photo Claire had accidentally left in Liam's backpack. Derek grinning at an art opening, arms slung around her waist. His profile unfolded. Derek Hale, 37, freelance curator, ex of a string of collectors' daughters. Twitter rants about toxic masculinity in blue-collar trades. A dig at me? Deeper digs. A sealed assault charge from 5 years back, domestic, dropped when she recanted. Subtle hint or paranoia. The phone buzzed. Claire. Mark, can we talk? It wasn't what you think. I typed back, fingers steady. It's exactly what I think. Deleted. Sent instead. Liam's sleeping. We'll discuss custody tomorrow. But in my head the fantasies sharpened. Not fists but precision strikes. Ruin his reputation. Expose the cracks in his polished facade. Slow burn, undeniable. For Liam. For the man I'd been before her lies hollowed me out. As sleep evaded, the cities hum a lullaby of distant sirens, resolve hardened. Betrayal's sting was the forge. Revenge the blade. But in the quiet hours, doubt lingered like smoke. Would justice heal, or just carve deeper scars? Dawn crept through the blinds like a thief, slanting gold across the rumpled sheets where Liam snored softly. his small chest rising in merciful rhythm. I hadn't slept, couldn't, with the ER discharge papers mocking me from the nightstand, black ink detailing blunt force trauma, non-accidental indicators. The doctor's words echoed, clinical yet accusatory. Get him evaluated by child services if patterns emerge. Patterns. As if one was anomaly. As if Claire's denials could erase the purple bloom fading to jaundice yellow on his cheek. Coffee brewed, bitter and black, steam curling like unanswered questions. I scrolled Derek's socials on my phone, the glow harsh against the pre-dawn gloom. Posts of vineyard weekends, abstract sculptures he'd discovered. Claire's work, captioned with heart eyes and insider jargon. A photo from last week. Him and Liam at a pumpkin patch, the boy's grin wide but strained, Derek's hand heavy on his shoulder. Manipulation in pixels. Seeding trust I'd have to uproot. Resentment festered, a low boil. He'd played father while I toiled, funding the life he infiltrated. Liam stirred, rubbing his eyes with bandaged fists. Daddy. Does it still look bad? His voice was a feather, fragile, testing the air. I knelt, brushing his hair, soft as cornsilk, inherited from her. Like a warrior's mark. Makes you tough. Lies to shield him, but guilt twisted the knife. I'd failed him first with my absences, my blind faith in her. Want pancakes. Chocolate chip. A nod, tentative smile. As batter sizzled on the griddle, the sweet char masking the undercurrent of dread, my phone lit with her text. Coffee? Neutral ground. For Liam. Neutral. As if ground existed anymore. I agreed. Starbucks on Sunset, public witnesses. Strategy. Let her talk, reveal the seams. The cafe buzzed with the morning rush. Baristas shouting orders over the hiss of espresso, the air thick with roasted beans and commuter sweat. Claire arrived late, sliding into the booth opposite, her trench coat shedding rain like regret. Up close, exhaustion etched her. Crow's feet deepening, lipstick smudged from nervous bites. No Derek. A small mercy, or his cowardice. Thanks for coming. Her fingers drummed the table, chipped polish flaking like her composure. Last night was intense. Intense. I echoed, voice flat, stirring sugar into coffee I wouldn't drink. The granules swirled, hypnotic, mirroring the chaos in my chest. Anger simmered, but layered now with heartbreak's ache. The woman across from me, once my North Star, reduced to this stranger bartering for absolution. She leaned in, voice dropping to a hush amid the clatter of cups. Derek feels awful. It was a misfire. Liam charged the pitch like he does with you at T-ball. He iced it, sang him songs after. He's not a monster, Mark. Not a monster. The words tasted like ash. Inner turmoil raged. Part of me wanted to believe, to salvage the co-parenting charade for Liam's sake. Fantasies of reconciliation flickered. Us, mending over bad wine and apologies. But obsession drowned them. I'd seen the charge sheet, the recanted testimony from his ex-patterns. Then why the threats? Don't tell Daddy. That's not a game, Claire. That's control. Her eyes flashed. Defiance, then deflection. Liam exaggerates. Kids do when they're scared. Derek's been good for us. Takes me to openings, helps with the house. You're always gone. The jab landed, humiliation flaring anew. 15-hour days bridging LA's quake-prone sprawl. Every beam and bolt for their security. I work for him. For you. And you repay it by letting some gallery fucker play dad with a bat. Heads turned. A mom with a stroller, brows furrowed. Claire flushed, whispering fierce. Keep your voice down. This isn't about us. It's Liam. He needs stability, not your witch hunt. Witch hunt. The accusation stung, moral conflict churning. Was I the hunter or the hunted, paranoia twisting facts into weapons? But resolve steeled. Her defense of him was the betrayal's raw edge, choosing his narrative over our son's truth. Stability. With a man who hits first and gaslights after. I talked to a lawyer this morning. Full custody pending investigation. Her face drained, porcelain cracking. You can't. Mark, please. We had an agreement. Agreements break. I slid the photo across the table, Liam's welt stark against his pale skin. She recoiled, hand to mouth, a gasp that might have been genuine. In that fracture I saw her complexity. Not villain but vessel, craving adoration, blind to the rotted bread. Pity stirred, unwelcome, softening the rage. But obsession whispered, use it. Whoosh. We parted in brittle silence, her heels clicking retreat across the tile, coffee untouched. Back home with Liam at preschool, vetted teachers my new sentinels, I dove deeper. Laptop open on the dining table, its fan whirring like conspiratorial breath. I mapped Derek's empire. LinkedIn, connections to blue-chip collectors, whispers of an upcoming show at Claire's gallery, Hale's hidden gems featuring her pieces. Leverage. A quick email to an old college buddy at the DA's office. Hypothetical, old assault file, viability for reopen? Response. Sealed but patterns could unseal. Slow burn planning unfolded in the afternoon's hush, sunlight slanting through dust motes like spotlights on a stage. I drove to the gallery, a converted warehouse in Echo Park, its facade splashed with graffiti murals. Ironic, given Claire's disdain for street filth. Inside, the air hummed with pretension. Polished concrete floors echoing soft chatter, canvases looming like judgmental eyes. Claire was at the front desk, head bent over invoices, but it was Derek who spotted me first. Lounging by a sculpture, wine flute in hand despite the hour. Mark. His greeting was cordial frost, setting the glass down with deliberate clink. Up close in the gallery's cool blue light, his facade gleamed, tailored blazer over that tee, cologne cutting the varnish and oil paint tang. But his eyes narrowed, assessing threat. Curious about the show, I wondered, feigning interest, fingers trailing a Claire original, swirling abstracts of fractured skies, her signature chaos. Touching it felt intimate, profane. Heard it's a big night for you too. He chuckled low, joining my orbit. Yeah, Claire's stars are aligning. She's brilliant, raw, unfiltered. You get that, right? The fire that burns everything else away. Subtext dripped. Including you. Humiliation coiled, but I swallowed it, letting obsession guide. Fire's dangerous. One wrong spark. Pause, eyes locking. His smile faltered, just a twitch, fear? Guilt. Dialogue danced, laced with barbs. Heard about the Little League incident, I said, nodding to a baseball-themed print. Kids heal fast, though. Adults. Not so much. Derek's jaw tightened, the sculptor's hands flexing. Water under the bridge, man. Claire and we're building something real. You should try it sometime instead of playing detective. The gauntlet thrown. Inner doubt surged. Was this paranoia or prescience? Moral grayness loomed. Exposing him could torch Claire's career, collateral on Liam's behalf. But resolve pushed. For the boy who'd sobbed in my arms, justice outweighed the fallout. That night, tension crested in quiet calculation. Liam bathed, splashing suds like forgotten joy, then tucked in with goodnight moon. His breaths evening to peace. Alone, phone in hand, I dialed an anonymous tip line. Child Services, voice modulated low. Regarding Derek Hale, 4-year-old in care. History of violence. Recent incident. Details spilled, the bat, the bruise, the sealed file. Blick. No turning back. Guilt gnawed through the witching hour, pacing the apartment's confines, carpet muffling my steps like suppressed screams. Had I become the monster, wielding bureaucracy like a bat? Fantasies of direct confrontation warred with fear. His build, his temper, the what-ifs of escalation. Heartbreak resurfaced raw. Claire's laugh in memory, twining with sobs. Obsession anchored me. This was layered love, fierce and flawed, demanding retribution. The payoff brewed over days, suspense a taut wire. Claire's calls escalated, pleading then accusatory. What did you do? CPS at the door. Derek's posts vanished. His charm curdling to silence. The gallery show loomed, Friday, a glittering nexus. I bought a ticket, anonymous, tuxedo crisp against my skin like armor. Opening night. The warehouse pulsed with velvet ropes and champagne flutes, air electric with whispers and clinking glass. Claire shone center stage, emerald gown hugging curves I'd once mapped with reverence, her speech lauding vulnerability's edge. Derek flanked her, tux impeccable, but shadows bruised his eyes. Sleepless, unraveling. I circulated, ghost in the crowd, nursing a scotch that burned like resolve. Subtle sabotage, a murmured word to a collector. Hail's eye. Buddy. That assault whisper. Seeds planted, blooming in sidelong glances. Tension mounted, slow and suffocating, the room's chatter a rising tide. Confrontation crystallized by the bar, Claire cornering me, eyes wild. You poisoned this. For what? To win. Not to win. Voice low, amid the jazz quartet's mournful sax, to protect. From you both. Derek materialized, grip firm on her elbow, his whisper to her. Not here. But to me, Venom. You think you're the hero? Digging up graves. I'll bury you. The threat hung, but I smiled, cold, calculated. Graves. Just truths. Then the twist. My phone buzzed, anonymous text, file unsealed. Charges pending. Run. From my dear buddy. Or deeper machinations. Chaos erupted then, poetic and shattering. A murmur rippled. Hail, that old case. Collectors drifted, champagne forgotten. Claire's face crumpled, realization dawning. Not my soul doing, but her own ghosts exhumed by proximity. Derek bolted for the exit, shoving through the throng, but security, tipped by my earlier call, met him, cuffs glinting under strobes. She turned to me, amid the fracturing party, sobs silent but seismic. Why? Because love isn't erasure. Heartbreak crested, but laced with unexpected mercy. I pulled her into shadow, away from stairs. Fix it. For him. Or lose us both. As sirens wailed distant, the gallery emptied like a punctured lung. I slipped out, the night's chill biting like absolution. Liam waited at home, safe in his dreams. Revenge delivered. Not crimson but calculated, a scalpel's justice. Yet in the drive's solitude, doubt lingered. Had I healed the wound or merely cauterized, leaving scars that festered unseen? Betrayal's echo faded, but the pursuit's cost etched deep. A father's resolve, forever shadowed by the gray of what we'd all become.